Yo, what is up YouTube? It is Brody here again, another video. I just got out of another session with Ghostdaughter, who I've had multiple sessions of theirs in my YouTube videos here before, but we did a really cool one today. A lot more chill, textural, kind of ballady, acoustic kind of song today, kind of giving me some like ETHEL CAIN, some Field Medic, some Adrian Lenker, like slower, more intimate, soundscapey, ambient, acoustic kind of stuff. And I wanted to talk about how we did this, talk about how I led through some production choices that I made, talk about some new gear that I used in today's session. Similar to my last few videos, I will put the Logic session of this on my Patreon. If you would like to check out all of the layers that I recorded here in more depth and see what's going on behind the scene, really get in there yourself and feel around, I'll put the Logic session of this on my Patreon, which will be in the description below. And yeah, let's dive into it. Pretty short and sweet song, pretty short and sweet session. This is a lot more minimal than anything I've done recently, but I think it's really fun to like limit yourself in a way of like making the most out of the least amount of tracks. We wanted the song to be kind of quiet, kind of like more chill, more intimate. So we did a lot with what we had, and it sounds like this. Slow and evolving. Little break here, then it reaches its full potential. So yeah, that is what we made. I love the feeling of that. It's such like a nice, like sad, melancholic, yet intimate and like gentle, like I don't know. It just feels like a very like special, intimate moment shared with someone. And I love like being able to capture an emotion like that, like such a specific emotion in this sound palette. And I think it is the sound palette that helped us a lot with this, like a lot of ghostly, melancholic, quiet, hesitating kind of sounds that lead to this point, I think. And I guess, yeah, we'll go through. I'll talk about each of the sounds that we made and how we made it, why we made it. Starting off, we have the acoustic guitar. Just very simple. This is probably the most like basic part of the whole thing, but it really is like the anchor that keeps us going through. The whole song has it, and it is establishing the chord progression. And it's just my acoustic hard pan left and right double tracked, slight EQ, slight blend of some reverb, a little more EQ, just because it was kind of boomy. I mic'd it close. And it sounds like this. a lot of nice room noise in it. I left open like a little bit of like the intro of like me kind of getting ready to play. It sounds really cool. There's a lot of room ambience you can hear throughout it. My AC is kind of loud because it's really hot right now, so that's kind of adding some noise in the background that sometimes I would take out, but in this context, I think it adds some more realness and puts you into a place. I also want to show I am tracking this through my UA Apollo, and I'm running, the chain isn't just the EQ and the reverb. I'm running it through a Neve 1073 and then 1176 and an LA2A. On the way in, you can see my voice I'm talking with right now is the voice I'm talking with, but my voice is running through it right now, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of gain reduction on each. It's just kind of leveling it out, making it sound nice, and giving some sustain to that guitar, pushing some of the room and like more subtle characteristics forward. From there, we go to another layer of the acoustic guitar. Pan center, I pitched an octave down to give us this upright bass sound. Pretty subtle in the mix, but it just adds that sub frequency. Makes it feel like it's getting bigger. I love doing that trick. I'm doing that on pretty much any production that has acoustic guitar. I'm layering this in there if there's not already a bass happening. From there, we have 2 layers of banjo. Again, all of these are being tracked through that same one of 2 chains. Bass was also tracked through the baby bottle, so it hit the Neve 1073 and the compressors. My banjo and mandolin and a few other things are being tracked through my Octava pencil condenser mic. So that one is hitting the 1073. I opted to have no compression going on the way in, just so I could have a little more room, and so I could have these be a little more raw and a little more dynamic. I hit, after that, a couple passes of the banjo. I started off with this, which I panned hard left. So I added a blend of Little Altar Boy, high octave, just to kind of add some like weirdness to it. I love the sound of the banjo, but that just adds a little bit of uncanny. And the way that the octave kind of jumps a little bit, it's some wavering that I think adds some cool emotion to it. From there, I just compress it a little bit further. I decided I wanted the option to have dynamics, but I decided this one was too dynamic and some of those notes were poking out too loud. So I used an 1176 to kind of squash it down and make it fit in context. However, I didn't compress the other side. So this is like the main layer. And this layer is tucked more back in the mix, but it's more dynamic. So when it gets loud, it does poke through a little bit more, but it's some higher notes, kind of just adding some more emotion, like a very intimate kind of sound. And I think that softness and that like the dynamics of some notes poking out, some notes being really soft, it adds a lot of emotion and adds a lot of character to that. I think the 2 parts really glue together nicely. From there, I started playing with the mandolin a little bit. This is a section that kind of, its true form never is shown in the mix, but it adds a lot of cool texture at the end. I started off, I recorded 2 different layers, and it sounds like this. So one that's kind of like a picked thing. And one that's tremolo picked. And I love the sound of that. But it just wound up ultimately being a little too busy for the song. So I took it and I added some halftime to it, which all the way maxed out would sound like this. And it kind of slows it down. It makes it fit in the mix a little bit better. It just adds some... What I like most about the mandolin here is just like the scratchy high information that you get on the sides. It's like really high end, really bright, percussive sounding. It kind of is like a rain stick or a shaker or something of that nature. Then I blend it in here. You get a little bit of both. It's just a very textural, like, rich kind of thing. It's like a raining sound almost. I find with the way the mandolin is, the way it's such a high tension instrument, like those strings are really tight. It's a really bright sound. You can get some really interesting noises out of it. I feel like I'm doing very atypical mandolin playing here. And that's further added by this next layer where I'm taking the mandolin and I'm playing it with my ebow and my slide here. So I can kind of get it's a sound you hear me do a lot in my videos on my acoustic guitar, but it's something that I've been trying on other instruments too. It like allows me to resonate the string and play it slide versus hearing the frets. So it's this very floaty vocal sounding thing. And I did this out of that. Compressed it a little bit, compressed it a lot to tame some of the dynamics. You can hear my cat in that recording too. It was right around dinner time, so you can hear her bugging me to try to give her food. I love that. And her collar kind of sounds like a tambourine. That noise, when it starts screeching, so fun. Just sounds like yelling. I love that. That adds a ton of emotion. Like the mandolin, just that helps. So that's so nice. That's such a texture. That's such a mood. That's such a world that it lives in. I'm so happy with those sounds. That's crazy. From there, we go to our Shruti box. It's off camera down here. It's like this Indian vocal meditative music instrument that is kind of akin to like an accordion, a harmonium, like a reed style thing, like a pipe organ almost. That's something that, same with the acoustic guitar, is playing the whole song, and it sounds like this. It's a very drone instrument. You choose the notes that are, so it's got a entire keyboard worth of holes on it that are all covered, and you open up whatever holes you want to play, and those are the notes that will sustain throughout. And I chose like a pretty but dissonant set of notes here. A lot of reverb because it's kind of a bright sound. I'm still learning how to mic it. But when you put that behind the acoustic guitar, it really fills out space nicely. Versus nothing. Then with. Really adds a ton of world to it. Just like, and I don't know, any like pedal tone I'm a big fan of. Any pedal tone that just like happens the whole time through and adds to the world that the song's taking place in. I talk about world building all the time. That's one of my like keywords I'm always throwing out there, but I genuinely think that helps make a song fit a mood, a place, idea. And this is the kind of thing that really helps me with that, I think. Yeah, it's such a nice combination of things. With the mandolin. Just all the pick attacks, all the breathing. Because the Shruti box really is breathing, you know? It's very alive, and I love that sound. From there, we go a couple layers with my electric guitar. Technically my electric guitar, but this is another new tool that I have. This was my second session ever that I got to use this in. Earlier this week, I purchased a Chase Bliss Dark World pedal. It's a reverb. Sadly, it's a discontinued pedal, but I found one on Reverb. But it is a dual reverb pedal. On one half, you have a kind of standard reverb that has like a hall, a plate, and a spring sound. On the other side, you have some more strange reverbs you can mess with. There's a modulated reverb, there's a shimmer reverb, and there's an infinite sustain EHX freeze type thing that all have parameters that you can really stretch and make sound a lot more strange and extreme and like otherworldly. All the different textures and reverbs and like ambience that I build in my music, I thought that this would allow me to have a lot more sound palettes to choose from when I am crafting my ambiences. I use my Boss RV500 a lot for this, but I was starting to feel like I wanted just more options. I love that pedal, but I want more in the toolbox. I did 4 different things with it, and the first one is I played a simple melody on the guitar through the modulated side, which adds a lot of chorus and like almost like seasick worthy, like you can really stretch it to where it's really bold and like going out of pitch. And I did that while playing a melody 100% wet, so you're only getting the reverb, and it sounds like this. Really noisy, kind of lo-fi. Throw in the bass so you can hear in context. I love that sound. A lot of emotion. It sounds very ghostly. And then on the right side, I used the other side of the Dark World pedal. I used, again, 100% wet, but a little bit of a pre-delay and a short room sound. That way it just has a more clear but also ghostly sound like this. Then together you blend them. I love that. It still sounds very organic. There's a lot of life in that sound. I love that. Next layer is a very tried and true Brody effect, but used with my new pedal instead of the way I usually do it. I love doing an infinite sustained reverb as a pad. I do it with my Boss pedal all the time, but the Dark World pedal also has a way to do that. I did the same thing I usually do. I played a chord, or I played a couple of notes that I wanted to sustain through the whole song, and then just recorded the entirety of this pass through with it just ringing out. It sounds like this. Pan hard left and right. Compared to the Boss pedals version of doing this, I feel like this is a little more upfront. It's a little more aggressive in a cool way. It sounds a lot on its own, but in the context of the mix, it adds a lot of energy, I think. I'll bring it in. Big fan of that. So yeah, that's all the individual instruments, and if you look, you can see a lot of muted tracks here. Essentially, I just took that section and played it through 3 times and allowed it to evolve. I started off really simple and just started unmuting and letting the thing progress and progress until at the end, there's this 2-bar break, and then it comes in at the highest energy, still very intimate and small, but at the highest energy point of the song with everything happening. And I'm excited to hear how vocals come out with this. We intentionally, because the last 2 Ghostdaughter songs we've done were around the 4-minute mark, kind of big songs, so we wanted to keep this one short and sweet and allow it to be more to the point, more impactful. I think this will leave some room for vocals to be a little more poignant. That was kind of our idea with this. Keep it simple, not overcooking anything with this one. Just like took a couple hours to like craft some really interesting sounds and textures and like emotive things over this chord progression, and just let it be. We at a point I was like about to start doing more, then we're like, you know what? I feel like it's at the point where it's ready for vocals, and if we do more to it, it is just gonna overcook it or make it be the same thing we've done every time. It felt good to like, I don't want to say prematurely let this go because this is a finished idea, but let it go before I felt like I wanted to, if that makes sense. A lesson in less is more, a lesson in trusting the idea there. But yeah, this is it. This is the song we made. This is how we did a like ambient, folky, intimate, ETHEL CAIN, Field Medic, Adrian Linker kind of thing. I love how this turned out. I'm excited to hear how it turns out with vocals. But yeah, that's it. That's how I made this song. That's how I made this session. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. That all being said, peace out.